Hello. So today we are in week 6 and in today's video lecture I'm going to discuss equity valuation or ordinary share valuation, and also we'll do some tutorial questions issued by ECU. So stock valuation models, expected dividends as the basis for stock values. In other words, in order to value ordinary shares or stocks mean ordinary shares. So in order to value ordinary shares or stocks, we are using dividends as the basis. So if you hold a stock forever, all you receive is the dividend payment. In other words, if you keep a stock forever without selling the stock, all you receive as an investor is dividend payments. The value of the stock today is the present value of the dividend payments expected in the future. So when we want to calculate the value of a stock or value of one share, what we do is we calculate the present value of future dividends. So value of a share is the present value of future dividends. That is the basis of dividend valuation models. So basically what this slide says is the value of a share or P0 means the price of a share today. So P0 or intrinsic value is equal to future dividends after discounting. So here D1 means dividends in year 1. So dividends in year 1 we discount to calculate the present value of that dividend. So dividends in year 2 again we discount to calculate the present value of that year's dividend. In this way we can calculate the future dividends in order to calculate the total present value, in other words the intrinsic value of one ordinary share. So we'll do questions to understand this later. So with regard to dividend valuation, what you need to understand is there are three ways in which we can calculate the intrinsic value of a share based on dividends. In these three models or in these three methods, we are assuming certain assumptions or certain patterns of dividend changes. In the first method, we are assuming that there is a constant dividend or that dividends are going to be the same amount every year. In other words, every year the company is going to pay the same dividend. In other words, there is no growth or change in the amount of dividends. So if the same amount of dividend is going to be paid every year, we know that cash flow is a perpetuity cash flow. So for the perpetuity cash flow, to calculate the present value, what we do is we take a particular year's cash flow or a particular year's dividend, because every year the dividend is same. Therefore, we take 1 year's dividend payment that we divide by cost of equity. So cost of equity we represent by RS. You might remember cost of equity we have defined in the previous video lesson. Cost of equity we define as RS. So to calculate the value of one share or the intrinsic value of one share or P0, what we do is the perpetuity cash flow or the dividend that is constant every year we divide by cost of equity, which is RS. So the formula to calculate the intrinsic value when the dividend is a constant amount is dividend or D we divide by RS. RS means cost of equity. The second situation with regard to dividends is dividends sometimes can grow. Dividends sometimes can grow at a constant growth rate. In other words, we can assume a particular company as paying dividends to grow, let's say at 5% every year. In other words, if a particular company has paid a dividend of $1 this year, next year they are going to pay a dividend of 1.05 with a 5% growth rate. So if there's a constant growth rate in dividends, then of course we can apply this formula in order to calculate the intrinsic value of one share. The formula is D0. D0 means current year dividend. Always 0 means the current year. So D0 means current year dividend. That we multiply by 1 plus G. Here G means the growth rate. That is the numerator. Numerator we divide by RS. RS is cost of equity minus the growth rate. So I repeat, when there's a constant growth rate in dividends, in order to calculate the intrinsic value of one share, what we do is we take year 1 dividends. So how we calculate year 1 dividends? We take D0, current year dividends, and to the current year dividends, we apply the growth rate. So how we apply the growth rate? We take 1 plus G. G represents the growth rate. So when you take D0 into 1 plus G, it means we are taking next year's dividend or year 1 dividend. So D0 into 1 plus G is same as saying D1. That is the numerator. That we divide by cost of equity, which is RS minus G. So this is the formula that we need to apply in order to calculate the intrinsic value of one share when there's a constant dividend growth rate. So cost of equity or RS of an ordinary share is equal to two components, that is dividend yield. This is more like the interest yield or current yield in the case of a bond. With regard to ordinary shares, it is not the current yield, it is the dividend yield. So dividend yield, how we calculate? We take next year's dividend, which is dividend in year 1, over the current price. In other words, we are calculating if we invest P0 amount, or if we invest the current share price today, which is P0, how much of a dividend we are going to get after 1 year. So that is what is meant by dividend yield, D1 divided by P0. To that, we are adding the capital gain, which is represented by G. So the sum of these two, dividend yield and capital gain, is equal to cost of equity, RS. Now, in addition to, now you may remember, I told you with regard to valuation of ordinary shares, there are 3 assumptions with regard to dividends. One assumption is that dividends are constant. That means every year the investor or the shareholder is going to receive the same amount of dividends. In other words, he's not going to sell the share. The second assumption is that dividends are going to increase every year by a constant growth rate called G. Third assumption is where dividends are going to be various amounts in various years. In other words, with regard to dividends, there will be variable growth rates or non-constant growth rates. So these are the 3 assumptions with regard to dividends, based on which we can calculate the value of an ordinary share or the intrinsic value of an ordinary share. Okay, we can move into questions in order to calculate the intrinsic value of an ordinary share based on the 3 assumptions regarding dividends. Right. So that is the end of the presentation with regard to the valuation of ordinary shares. I will move into questions so that you will better understand as to how we can apply dividend valuation or dividend assumptions in order to calculate the value of an ordinary share. So changes in stock prices, investors change the rates of return required to invest in stocks. Expectations about the cash flows associated with stocks change. So what you have to understand is required rate of return of investors can change. So when required rates of return of investors change, required rate of return means RS. So when required rate of return of investors change, share prices change. So if the required rate of return decreases, share price increases. If the required rate of return increases, share price decreases. Similarly, expectations about future cash flows or future dividends can change. Sometimes we might assume dividends might increase, sometimes we might assume dividends might decrease. So if dividends are going to increase, or if the future cash flows are going to increase, the intrinsic value is going to be higher. If the future cash flows or dividends are going to decrease, the intrinsic value is going to be lower. So these are some of the things that you have to remember when it comes to ordinary share valuation or calculation of the market price of an ordinary share. So after this, we'll move into some of the questions given in the tutorial by ECU. So now we can move into some of the questions given with regard to equity valuation in the tutorial. So these questions actually have been given for week 7, but anyway, we can discuss these questions now since we have discussed about the equity valuation. So question number 1, you have been looking to invest your savings in shares. There are 3 companies that you have been considering, and they offer the following dividend payments. So company A offers a dividend of 50 cents and is currently trading at $4. The company expects dividends to remain constant in the foreseeable future. So in the first company, dividends are constant. Company B has recently paid a dividend of 43 cents and is currently trading at 5.9. So we are given the current prices. they expect dividends to grow at a constant rate of 4% per annum. So there's a constant growth rate of 4%. Company C has recently paid dividends of 37 cents and is currently trading at 7.5. Company C expects dividends to grow by 10% for the next 3 years and expect the growth rate then to settle at 6% for the foreseeable future. So there are two growth rates. If your required rate of return, that is cost of equity, is 12% per annum, how much should you be willing to pay for each share? Okay. So the question is, given the details, the examiner wants us to calculate the intrinsic values of company A, company B, and company C shares, and then to compare those values with the current market prices. So let's see how we can do this question. So equity valuation. Equity valuation, question number 1. So we have 3 companies, company A, B, and C. I can put the current market price. Current market price. So current market price for one share of A is $4, B 5.9, and C 7.5. So those are the current market prices. Then I will go to the valuation of company A. For company A, we know the dividend amount is constant. So we know the formula to calculate the intrinsic value of the shares if the dividend amount is constant. I will write the formula here. P0 equals dividend amount. It's a perpetuity cash flow. So dividend amount divided by RS. RS. So here I can define dividend amount for company A as per the question is 50 cents. RS is 12%. That is the cost of equity is 12%. So I can now calculate the price P0. That is simply 0.5 divided by 12%. So current price, not the current price, so intrinsic value of one share is 4.16, or you can say after rounding off 4.17. You can round it off to 4.17. So the intrinsic price of one share in company A is 4.17, whereas the current market price is $4. So this is the situation for company A. So I can put the intrinsic value here in the next column, intrinsic value. So intrinsic value of one share in company A is 4.17. Now I can go to company B. Company B. So in company B, there's a constant growth rate in dividends. I will first put the current dividends, D0. Current year dividend is 0.43. There's a dividend growth rate. Constant growth rate is 4% per annum. And cost of equity, we know 12%. That doesn't change. Cost of equity 12%. So when there's a constant dividend growth rate, the formula to calculate the share price P0 is D1 divided by RS minus G. So this is the formula. Now I can get the answer here. P0 or the intrinsic value, that will be D1. So how I calculate D1 here? I know D0. So D0 I can multiply by 1 plus the growth rate. D1 is not given, but I can calculate D1. How I calculate D1? D0 into 1 plus growth rate. So that is the numerator. Whole of that divide by cost of equity 12% minus growth rate 4%. So I can find the answer now for the intrinsic value. Intrinsic value of one share in company is 5.59. In other words, I will explain the formula again. So the formula says we have to calculate D1. We don't have D1, but we have D0. So we can convert D0 into D1. How we do that? D0 into 1 plus G. D0 is 0.43. So 0.43 into 1 plus 4%, we can get the value of D1. That is the numerator that we have to divide by RS minus G. So RS is 12%. That minus 4% is the denominator. So our answer, or the intrinsic value of one share in company B is 5.59. I can put that here. Now I can go to company C. Now in company C, you will remember there are two growth rates. So there again, I can first put the current dividends. Current dividends are 0.37. Current dividends are 0.37. For the first 2 years, the company is expecting dividends will grow at 10%, and for the next 3 years, the company is expecting it will. It says the company C expects dividends to grow by 10% for the next 3 years, and thereafter 6%. So in the first 3 years, 10%. I can say growth rate for first 3 years. Growth rate for first 3 years, 10%. Growth rate from year 4 onwards. Year 4 onwards. That is 6%. Again, the cost of equity is 12%. So there are two dividend growth rates. Current year dividends or latest dividend is 0.37. Next 3 years, dividend growth rate 10%. Thereafter, dividend growth rate is 6% for the foreseeable future. Cost of equity 12%. So I have put the details as given in the question. So since there are cash flows till infinity, in order to calculate the intrinsic value of one share for company C, we have to calculate the present value of the future cash flows till infinity. So this is what I am going to do. I'm going to put all the cash flows and I'm going to calculate the present value of those cash flows. So year 1, year 2, year 3, listen carefully. And since there's a constant growth rate from year 4 onwards, I'm taking one column mentioning year 4 onwards to represent dividends or future cash flows from year 4 onwards. So I can put here future dividends. Future dividends. So year 1 dividends going to be, we know year 0 dividend or the latest dividend is 0.37. So next year dividend is going to be 0.37 into 1 plus next year's growth rate. Second year dividend is going to be first year dividend into 1 plus another 10%. Third year dividend is going to be second year dividend into 1 plus again 10%. Now, after 3 years, from year 4 onwards, growth rate changes to 6%. And from year 4, it runs till infinity. So since we can't put all the cash flows, what we do is, we have only year 4 dividend in this last column called year 4 till infinity. In other words, in this last column, what we are going to put is only 4th year dividend. 4th year dividend is going to be 6% more than 3rd year dividend. So it would be this into 1 plus 6%. So we are going to only put 4th year's dividend in that last column, representing cash flows from year 4 till infinity. So after putting the future dividends, this is what I'm going to do. I need to convert the future dividends into present values by discounting all of these dividend figures. So I'm going to calculate discount factors at my cost of capital. My cost of capital is 12%. Cost of equity is 12%. So I'm going to calculate discount factors at 12%. So for year 1, discount factor is going to be 1 over 1 plus 12%. I can say to the power of 1. In year 2 and 3, I can change the power factor. Second year it will be 2, third year it will be 3. So when calculating the present value from year 4 onwards, what we need to remember is that there is a constant growth rate in dividends from year 4. In other words, for the cash flow from year 4 onwards, we can apply the dividend growth rate formula. In other words, this formula which I am highlighting here. We can apply this dividend growth rate formula for the cash flows from year 4 onwards. So if you look at this formula says P0 equals D1. D1 means next year's dividend. So here the next year would be year 4. So when we are applying this formula for this part, or for cash flow starting from year 4, what we do is we divide year 4 dividend by the difference between cost of equity and the growth rate from year 4 onwards, that is 6%. I repeat, when we are calculating the present value for this column, for the last column, or for the cash flow starting from year 4, what we do is we divide 4th year dividends or 4th year cash flow by the difference between cost of equity and the constant growth rate. Thereafter, we have to do one more adjustment. This answer that we obtain, we need to discount further using 3rd year's discount factor. So I repeat, when we are calculating the present value for the cash flow starting from year 4 with a constant dividend growth rate, what we need to do is we need to apply the dividend growth rate formula. So we are taking year 4 dividends as the numerator and divide by the difference between cost of equity and the constant growth rate from year 4 onwards. So for the answer that we are obtaining, we need to do a further adjustment. We need to multiply that answer, or we need to discount that answer again using 3rd year's discount factor. In other words, you can see the formula. 4th year's, the answer that we obtain for the cash flows from year 4 onwards by applying the constant dividend growth rate formula. So as per this, it is 8.7. That answer we need to again discount using the previous year's, or in this case 3rd year's discount factor. So 3rd year's discount factor is 0.71178. So 8.7, which is the answer that we have obtained by applying the constant dividend growth rate formula, we need to again discount using the previous year. In this case, 3rd year's discount factor, which is 0.71178. So then we get the present value for that part 6.1927, or let's say 6.193. 6.193. For the other years, year 1, 2, and 3, now I can calculate the present values here. In year 1, present value would be future dividend into that year's discount factor. In the same way, I can calculate for year 2 and year 3. And thereafter, I can calculate the total present value. Total present value of all the cash flows. So total present value is the sum of all these present values, which is 7.26. So the intrinsic value of company C is 7.26. So I repeat, in company C there are two dividend growth rates, 10% for the first 3 years, thereafter 6% till infinity. Therefore, what we have to do is we need to calculate for the first 3 years the future value of dividends, and for the balancing part, that means for the year starting from 4th year to infinity, we have to have another column, and in that column we are going to put only 4th year's dividend amount. So 4th year's dividend amount is 0.522. After putting the future cash flows of future dividends, each dividend we need to discount using the discount rate of 12%. So at the rate of 12%, for year 1, 2, and 3, we can calculate the discount factors. That is not a problem. In year 4, when we calculate the present value, we need to do two adjustments. First, we need to apply the constant dividend growth rate formula, since from year 4, there's a constant growth rate in dividends. So after applying the constant dividend growth rate formula, we calculate first the answer there, that is 8.7. Since we have applied the constant dividend growth rate formula from 4th year, we need to again discount the answer that we have obtained, which is 8.7, by the preceding years, in this case 3rd year's discount factor. So 3rd year's discount factor is 0.71178. So when we do that, present value of the cash flows from year 4 onwards will become 6.193. For year 1, 2, and 3, I can calculate easily the present values. Thereafter, the intrinsic value of one share in company C would be the total of the present values, which I am getting here as 7.26. So I can put that here as the intrinsic value of one share in company C. Now I come back here. Now in company A, current market price is 4, intrinsic value is 4.17, which means current market price is at the moment understated. So I can say here situation. So intrinsic value is more than the current market price, which means current price is understated. Current price is understated. Since the current price is understated, it means the current price is a good price if you want to invest in company A. Therefore, company A shares we have to buy. Company A shares we have to buy if you want to invest. Now let's see what is the situation in company B. Now in situation in company B is its current price is 5 rupees and 90 cents. Intrinsic value is 5 rupees and 59 cents. In other words, intrinsic value is less than the current price, meaning current price is overstated. So if the current price is overstated, we should not buy at that price. Current price is overstated. So our decision is don't buy. Don't buy. In company C, again the current price is more than the intrinsic value. Like company B, current price is therefore overstated. So our decision is going to be don't buy. So out of the shares in company, out of the shares in the 3 companies, we can recommend to buy the shares of only company A. In other words, out of the 3 companies, we can only recommend company A for investments for a shareholder. So that is the answer to question number 1. So you can see the answer here. In the question itself, the examiner has given the answer. I mean, you can check the answers. Intrinsic value of company A 4.17, same answer we have obtained. Intrinsic value of company B 5.59, company C 7.26, which means our answers are 100% accurate. So based on this, the second part of the question, in which company shares a potential investor should invest in, as we have obtained in company A shares. Why we have to invest in company A shares? Because company A shares are currently understated or undervalued. In other two companies, the current share price is overstated. So let's move into question number 2. MEV Private Limited expects to pay a semi-annual dividend of 98 cents. So be very careful. A semi-annual dividend of 98 cents. They're currently trading at 17.6 and expect dividends to grow at 6% per annum. Woodrick Private Limited has recently paid a dividend of 43 cents and are trading at $12. They expect dividends to grow at 5.5% per annum. Which company should we invest in? So the question is asking, out of the two companies, in which company should we invest in? I will open that in a different sheet. Question number 2. So in the first company, let's say M Limited, expected, I will say expected semi-annual dividend, that is the dividend expected in the future periods, expected semi-annual dividend 0.98. So this is a future dividend, but it is a semi-annual dividend. So I can convert this to an expected annual dividend. So if the semi-annual dividend is 0.98, we can assume that it will continue. So next year dividend is going to be 1.96. So I repeat, the question itself says expected semi-annual dividend, so which means it is the expected dividend for the next year divided by 2. So expected dividend of the next year divided by 2 is given as 0.98. So I can calculate by using that expected the total year dividend for next year. That will be 0.98 into 2 times 1.96. So using that, I can calculate the yield or required rate of return of M Limited shares. RS I can calculate for this company. So if you remember, when I was discussing the presentation, I told you RS consists of 2 components. RS consists of dividend yield and the capital gain. Dividend yield is represented by next year dividend or D1 over the current price. Capital gain is represented by G or the growth rate. So here I can apply the formula RS equals, I'll first write the formula, dividend yield plus capital gain. This is what I have discussed in the presentation. So RS equal dividend yield plus capital gain. So how I calculate the dividend yield? D1 over P0. So I know my D1 is going to be, D1 means next year dividend, expected dividend in the next year. So D1 is going to be 1.96. P0 is the current market price. It is given by the examiner 17.6. So dividend yield is 11.13% or 11.14%. Growth rate in dividends 6%. So capital gain, which is represented by G, growth rate in dividends is 6%. Therefore, I can calculate RS. RS is the total of dividend yield and the capital gain, or G. Therefore, RS in M Limited is 17.14%. Now I can do the same thing for the other company, Woodrick Limited. Woodrick Limited. In that company, they have recently paid a dividend of 0.43. That's what they are saying. They have recently paid a dividend of 0.43, and dividends are expected to grow at 5.5% per annum. Last dividend is 0.43, and dividend growth rate is 5.5%. So I will write here dividend growth rate (5.5%). So I can calculate the expected next year dividend. Expected next year dividend, that will be D1. Expected next year dividend, that will be 0.43 into 1 plus 5.5%. So expected next year dividend is going to be 0.45365. Again, to calculate RS, the same formula, dividend yield plus capital gain. So dividend yield is D1 over P0. I know my D1 or next year dividend is 0.45365. Current price is 12. So dividend yield is 3.78%. Capital gain yield or the dividend growth rate is 5.5%. Therefore, cost of equity of Woodrick Limited is 9.28%. So the question is asking about which company should you invest in. So obviously, if you are a potential investor, you have to invest in the first company, or M Limited. I can say here, a potential investor should invest in M Limited. So this is the answer for the second question given in the tutorial. So you can check the answer. Answer also says M Limited or MOW. So those are the questions given in the tutorial for the valuation of equity. So with that, we complete the discussion on equity valuation or valuation of ordinary shares. So today we have discussed, last time we have discussed the valuation of bonds. So today we have discussed the valuation of ordinary shares. We valued ordinary shares based on dividends. There we assume dividends can take one of the three types. Dividends can be constant every year, or dividends can grow at a constant growth rate every year, or dividends can grow at variable rates, or there can be an inconsistent growth rate in dividends. So we have calculated, if you remember, in the first question, we have calculated intrinsic values or market prices of three companies based on the three dividend patterns. If you remember that question, first question which we did, in company A, we have calculated the intrinsic value assuming dividends are constant. In company B, we calculated the intrinsic value assuming that there's a constant dividend growth rate. In company C, we calculated the intrinsic value based on two different dividend growth rates or based on inconsistent dividend growth rates. So we have valued three companies based on three dividend patterns. For first company, we assume constant dividend. For the second company, a constant growth rate. For the third company, inconsistent growth rates. And thereafter, we compare the intrinsic values with the current market prices and then decided what a potential investor should do. So if the intrinsic value is more than the current market price, it means currently the share is undervalued. So in other words, it is a good buy at this moment. If the intrinsic value is less than the current market price, it means currently the share is overvalued. Therefore, the company or a potential investor should not invest in such a company's shares. So out of the three companies, company A is a good buy, or a potential investor can invest in company A, but company B and company C, those two companies are overvalued companies. Therefore, a potential investor should not invest in those two companies. In question number 2, we calculated the required rate of return of equity, which consists of dividend yield and the capital gain yield. So we did this for two companies, and based on our calculations, you have seen cost of equity is higher in the first company. Therefore, a potential investor should invest in the first company, or the return of the first company is higher than the return of the second company. So if you're a potential investor, you should invest in the first company. So with this, we conclude this session. So with another video lesson, we'll move into a new chapter, which is about cost of capitals. So thank you very much.